Hi guys, this is Tino Chibi, and today I have another Spec Ops guide for you guys, and this is Homeland Security, and I did this on Veteran and on Solo. And the very first thing that I did is I switched out the handgun for the M14 with thermal scope, and I also picked up some claymores and the sentry gun. I placed the sentry gun between the diner and the gas station because it's got a very good field of vision, so it can cover the entire area. As for the sentry gun in the diner, I placed it at the entrance for the very same reasons. And now you have two sentry guns overlooking the same area, and they're going to pick off the enemy very effectively and very fast. So as you may see in this first wave, it's going to end really soon. Now for general tactics that I chose to employ is I chose to camp in the diner, and I chose the diner for various reasons. One is you have a very good field of vision, so you can overlook the entire area in front of you. Second, you get very good cover behind that counter, so I suggest you guys stay behind that counter at all times. And third, you have plenty of weapons, plenty of ammo, and most importantly, plenty of RPGs, as they will come in very handy at the end of this mission. Now I have a couple of tips for you guys when doing this mission, and one of them is you want to keep the enemy as far away as possible. The problem is that once they get close to you, they're going to start shooting at the sentry gun. They're going to lob grenades, RPGs, and flashbangs, and they're going to destroy those sentry guns first, and before they come in and start flooding inside and killing you. So try to keep them as far away as possible, and one of the ways to keep them far away is every time Overlord comes up and tells you where they are, take note of it, point your thermal scope towards that area, and find the enemy and start shooting them from very far away. Both sentry guns won't be able to cover them all, so you have to do some work too. Now, for the record, I've been playing this. I've played this mission a couple of times, maybe 20 times. Pretty much lost count. At first, I used to camp inside the gas station with one sentry gun, and it proved effective maybe until the third wave. And once the chopper and the BTR starts coming out, it gets really hard for you to actually shoot them down when you don't have a RPG close to you. In this case, you may have noticed me that I went out and I beefed up my defense by placing more claymores around, and those are going to serve as markers, or as a way for me to know if they're trying to flag me from that area, from the gas station. As you may have noticed here, I lost my sentry gun inside the diner, and I chose to destroy that BTR at the very beginning of the wave. My suggestion is don't. Leave that for the very last, and just focus on the enemies first. Because the BTR is not very effective against you, as opposed to the helicopter. So once you destroy it, once you kill all the enemies, and leave the BTR for last, you can actually head out to the other buildings and stock up on some ammo, some weapons, and perhaps even pick up new sentry guns, fresh sentry guns from the other buildings. I believe there are two more in this map. Excuse me. There's one at Nate's Restaurant on the far east, in this map, and there's one in the financial building on the far left, or the northern part of this map. And not only that, I believe there is a ammo crate on the roof of Nate's Restaurant, which is on the east side. So if anything, you can actually go over, stock up, pick up the sentry gun, head back in, and set up. Now this final wave proved to be very, very tricky, and I made a lot of mistakes in here. I'm going to point them out for you guys later on. You may have noticed right now I'm beefing up my defense a little bit more, putting claymore in there. It proved to be very useful later on. And once again, I camp behind a counter and I start trying to pick them off from far away. Luckily, I still have one more sentry gun on the outside, and I'm pretty surprised to survive that long. So it's doing a lot of the work for me. And here, this is the very first mistake that I did. I picked up that RPG and I shot at the BTR, hoping that I would shoot it down. So there are those two shots, those perfectly good missiles that I used. So when it comes to playing this game in Veteran, make every shot count. Otherwise, you're going to get killed. So once again, pick up that RPG, try to shoot down that BTR, and I miss it. So that's 3 shots that I missed. And 3 shots that I could have saved for later on. I don't know if you guys have noticed that the counter is giving me pretty good cover, so like I said, stay behind the counter as much as you can. And in this case, I switched over to the SCAR, the red dot, and I start picking them off at a quick distance. I could have used the thermal scope, but I have more control over the SCAR. There's a lot less recoil. It's got pretty good range, so it's good enough for me to cover myself for the time being. And once I'm comfortable enough to switch to the thermal scope, I do, like I do in this case. Now, one thing that you guys should take note of is look at your radar at all times. And I just did, and I just noticed that a couple of enemies were trying to flag me from the gas station. And I looked over at that end, and I started picking them off. See, the claymore in front of me blew off when that guy came in, so lucky me. And right now you see the enemies coming in, and instead of shooting at me, they start shooting at the sentry gun. So that's why I've been telling you guys at the very beginning, try to keep them as far away as possible, because once they get close to you, they're going to shoot at the sentry gun. And once they destroy the sentry gun, it becomes really hard for you to defend. In this case, all the hostiles are dead, and I'm with the helicopter and the BTR. In this case, I missed those 2 shots. For shooting down helicopters, you know, using an RPG to shoot them down is pretty tricky. So a couple of tips: aim for a general area, aim for the propeller. In fact, do not aim for the body. And what you're going to do is that you're going to let them hover, and you're going to wait for them to actually stop and hover in one same spot, and then you're going to take a shot. So there, I missed a couple of shots. So roam around waiting for it to come by. Their predator drone noticed me, so they're going to start shooting some missiles. So stay away from the windows as much as possible. Otherwise, they're going to notice you and they're going to shoot at you. That shot actually made the trick. So anyhow, I also picked up the AT-4, and I was roaming around this room hoping to find a second chopper, but I had to actually go out and find a chopper. And I mean, at the same time, I went stocked up a little bit more on ammo just to be sure. As you may have noticed, I went back into a building, and this time I went into a gas station. Taking cover is very important, especially when you have a chopper and when you have predator drones spotting you and shooting missiles at you. And I almost got killed right there, so I went back and took cover. Now, the rest of this mission is pretty much straightforward. I mean, I waited for the chopper to hover in one very specific spot, and then I took the opportunity to shoot at it. But I missed a shot. And by then I was pretty much desperate because I didn't want to run over to the other 2 buildings just to stock up on some RPG ammos. But lucky for me, I actually succeeded with these last 2 shots. Well, anyways, please rate this video. If you liked it, if you didn't like it doesn't matter. I like to get good feedbacks from you guys. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, please post them. And please subscribe if you like this. I'm going to be posting some public matches in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.